All right, good morning, everybody. Today is Daf Mem Zayin. So I hope to get to the top of Mem Ches today, because the sugya sort of continues a little bit there. So we left off the bottom line yesterday of Mem Vav Amud Beis. So we were talking about, we had a discussion with Rav Chizda, who mentioned here the concept of hoil, since you're going to do if somebody would come in, so you would be able to do that malacha on yantif for the purpose. It wouldn't be for a chol. So there's always that question of perhaps I might use it, and therefore it would be mutter. So Esvei, bottom line of Mem Vav Amud Beis. So lechem aponim nechal latisha uliyasara uliyachadasar loy pachas v'loy yaser. So the lechem hapanim, which was placed every week on the shulchan, and basically the bread would be there it would remain there for a week until the following Shabbos. And the following Shabbos, it would be taken by the Kohanim and eaten then on Shabbos. And so it was baked basically the week before, but you can't bake it on Shabbos. So therefore, they always baked it the Friday before. And therefore, the bread is always eaten fresh, right? The bread is always eaten either after 9 days, 10 days, or 11 days. The Gemara explains, right? So Kate's at house. Kadarko, the regular week is Latisha, is 9 days. Hauso, Nefa Erev Shabbos. It's baked on Friday and Erev Shabbos, and Nechal the Shabbos Latisha. Then it's eaten the following Shabbos, though they're taken out, they're removed, and they're eaten the next Shabbos on Shabbos. So therefore, basically, that's the 9th day, right? And day 1 is Friday, right? The next Friday is day 8, right? Because including the day, and therefore Shabbos is day 9. And Chal Yontif Liyos Shabbos, if Yontif came out, let's say Yontif was on also Friday, so Nechal the Shabbos Liyasor will be eaten on the following Shabbos in 10 days. Why? Because they wouldn't go ahead and bake it on Yontif. They would do it on Thursday and the day before, and therefore it turns out they'll be eating the bread on the 10th day. And Shnayim Tovim Shel Rosh Hashanah, if Rosh Hashanah fell out on Thursday, Friday, which is Yontif, right? So, Rosh Hashanah is Yontif. So therefore, it will be baked on Wednesday. So Nechal the Shabbos, it will be 11 days. Because the baking of the challahs, right, does not override Shabbos or Yontif, and therefore they can't go ahead and bake it on Shabbos or Rosh Hashanah or Yontif if they're on Thursday or Friday. Now, what's the question? Savia Marta Sarche Shabbos Nasa Yontif, and if you say that the needs of Shabbos it can be done on Yontif, Amaylo Dachi Yontif. Why can't they just go ahead and bake it on Yontif, right? If Yontif is on Friday, why can't they bake it on Yontif? If Shabbos and Yontif, right, is all together, it's all called a Yontif. Shabbos is called a Yontif, and Yontif is called a Yontif. So let's be able to go ahead and bake the bread at least on Friday, right? So why do they have to? If Friday is Yontif, why do you have to go ahead and bake on Thursday, right? Bake on Friday. Samarlei Shvus Krova Hitiru Shvus Rechaikelo Hitiru. When it's a Shavuos that's close by, i.e. the next day, then we allow you to go ahead and bake it. But if it's a Shavuos Rechoika, i.e. it's for the following Shabbos, for the following week, that they didn't permit. But according to Rabbi Shimon ben Asgan, who says it does normally, you are allowed to go ahead and bake. You can go ahead and bake it on Yontif, right? The only time you can't go ahead and bake it is if it's Yom Kippur. If Yom Kippur is on Friday, right? Then you wouldn't be able to go ahead and bake it. So according to him, so what do you say there? So our answer is no. So that's the case. There's the machlokes. Shvus krova hitiru, shvus rechoika lo hitiru. Right? One of them holds that why does he hold you're allowed to do it? Because one of them holds, we said earlier, that on Yontif, Lefi Rav Chizda, we said that for a Shvus, which is next week, we don't permit. And according to Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, who said in the name of Rabbi Shimon ben Asgan that you are allowed to go ahead and do it on Yontif, he holds that it also permitted. So Mesiv in the middle of the page of Mem Zayin Amud Aleph, Mesiv Rav Mari Shtei Halechem Ein Nechlos Lo Pachos Mishnayim Lo Yoser Al Shlosha. Right, the bread that's offered, we bring two the two we bring the what's it called, the two loaves on Shavuos, right? It's brought then, and that permits the I guess the grains to be used in the mikdash. So those breads are eaten either on the second day or the third day, right? Not less than two, not more than three. So Kate at house. So nefos erev yontif, nechlos the yontif. So according to one way, right, Shavuos is one day, right, as right during the time of the mikdash in Eretz Yisrael. So it was baked on erev yontif, and it was eaten the next day on the second day. All right, and chal yontif liyos achar Shabbos. But let's say yontif was after Shabbos. So nechlas the yontif l'shlishi the fish sheina doicha los Shabbos los yontif. So what do they do then? They do it the day before. It's the third day, because Shabbos is would be next to Yontif, so there would be 2 days, and therefore it'll be the day before. Now, Shabbos nasa b'Yontif, and if you say the needs of Shabbos can be done in Yontif, and over here sahashta the Shabbos b'Yontif shari. So if you say that you can do for Shabbos and Yontif is mutter, so Yontif b'Yontif mi boy. So why can't you bake it the day of, right? And now, if you're allowed to prepare from Yontif to Shabbos, you should be able to prepare from Yontif to Yontif, i.e., you should be able to bake the bread on Shavuos morning and then eat the bread then. Why do you have to go ahead and bake it a day before, right? So the Gemara answers, no, the pasuk says, lachem lo legavo. When we permit you to go ahead and bake on Yontif for the purpose of Yontif, it's for you, for your purposes, right? But if it's for the purposes of Hashem, i.e., the shtei lechem, so then the shtei lechem does not override, because that's lahashem, that's lagavo, that's not lachem, and therefore, since those have hektish, those have kedusha, therefore we don't permit that to be done in Yontif, only for your own personal needs. That baking can be done in Yontif, but not the baking for gavo. According to him, who holds it is deiches Yontif ma'ikal meimar. So right? He holds that, i.e., according to him, you do bake it on Shavuos itself. So if that's the case, so what does he do with the pasuk of lachem lo gavo? So he darshans it differently. He darshans it, you're allowed to go ahead, and when we say you can go ahead and bake it, you can bake it for your own purposes, for the purposes of the mikdash, but you can't go ahead and bake something that's going to be basically utilized for non-Jews. So shalach le Rav Chizda le Rabba via the Rav Acha bar Rav Huna. So Shiloh was sent Rav Chizda Rabba in the hands of Rav Acha bar Rav Huna. So me, I'm reading Hoil. Do we hold to this concept of Hoil, of since if something happens, I would be needed. It would be needed on that day. So therefore, you're allowed to do it just in case that happens. We learn in the Mishnah, Yesh chayresh telem echad v'chayvin aleh mishum shmona. Laughing. A person can go ahead and do one act of plowing in a field, and he would violate, in such a case, he would be chayiv 8 lavin. All right. So hachayresh b'shor v'chamor v'hei mukdashin. Right. So what's the scenario? One goes ahead and he plows with 2 animals that are not the same, i.e., a shor and a chamor, which is prohibited, right? In addition to kilayim in terms of wearing or of growing in a field. Another one is you can't have 2 separate animals. Basically, a plow. You can't have an ox with a donkey plowing together. The hey mukdashin, and they're both hektish, right? One is there's another 2 violations, because one is for the gavoa, one is for a korban, right? The shore, and the chamor is let's say for bedek habayas. So that's bedek habayas. I'll try and count on my hand. The hey mukdashin, right? And they're hektish. So therefore, you're using hektish of a shore and right. So basically, you're doing kilayim, 2 different animals plowing together. You're using a shore, which is hektish. You're using a chamor, which is hektish. That's 3. The kiloim bekerem, and then now what you're plowing is basically wheat and grapes, right, and vines, which is 4. Turn the page, tap the page. Uvshviz, and it's during Shemitah, the Yontif, right? And it's also being done on Yontif, and Kohen v'Nazir Abeis HaTumah. and it's a Kohen doing it, and he's a Nazir, right? And a Kohen is forbidden to go in a base of Tuma in an area which is Tameh, and a Nazir is also, so that's 7 and 8. Now, so the person, if he does this plowing, he's chayiv for 8 lafin. Now, if you say the concept of hoil, so acharisha lo lechayiv, you shouldn't be chayiv for plowing and yantif. Why is that? Maybe what's going to say, if I chance upon blood, right, from a bird that was shechted, and I need to go ahead and cover the blood, kisui adam, right? So I can use, I'm plowing now, so I have earth that I can go ahead and use to cover. So why do we say the concept there? You said the concept before. You can go ahead and bake on Shabbos. That because maybe someone's going to knock on my door at 5 noon, able to serve them that the fresh baked goods, right? The concept of hoil. So same thing here. At 5 o'clock, I'm going to see blood and it needs to be covered. So I'm going to use I should be allowed to plow because I want to utilize the earth there. So Amrav Papa Rashmul Be'avonim. So we're talking about a case over here, Be'avonim Mur Kazalos, right? We're talking about basically stones that are rocks that are not able to go ahead and do Kisui Adam. So the Gemara says, go ahead and grind them up, right? You can be able to grind it up so they'll become, like almost like dirt, and therefore be able to do kisui there. It's not just, rocks or boulders, whatever it is. So the Gemara says, Kadisha b'yantif mishari. Are you allowed to do Kadisha? You can't do all malachas and yantif for Eichel Nefesh, right? You can't do grinding. So therefore, since you have to grind it up, there'll be a malacha. So the Gemara says, no, maybe we're talking about a case where all you have to do is grind them, right, in an abnormal way, and not a real grinder, but something that you can do, right, not the normal way, and therefore you not be chayiv such a case. So the Gemara says, okay, we're talking about bitsunma, right? We're talking about the area is very, very rocky, and these rocks cannot be basically crushed even in a way of kleacher yad. So if you're talking about a rocky area, right? So how are you plowing, right? You can't sow there. You can't go ahead and plant anything there. It's too rocky. So the Gemara says, no, sunma milamala, the offer tichuch milamata, right? The rocks are on top and the dirt is on the bottom. So if there's dirt underneath the rocks, then say that is the dirt that you're plowing. That's going to be used for kisui adam. So Ella Omar Maravashi, we're talking about Bettina. The dirt, right, is mud, and mud can't be used, right? It has to be dry. The mud can't be used for kisui adam. Bettina Barzri, and can you go ahead and plant in Tina in this mud? So our answer is bimisunta. All right, we're talking about if it's wet mud, right? Not just hardened mud, but wet mud, which can be used for it can be used for planting, but it can't be used for kisui hadam. Fine. So we're around 8 lines from the top on Mem Zayin Amud Beis. Esvei Abaye on Mem Zayin Amud Beis. Last word of the line. Esvei. So Esvei Abaye. Another question with multiple isurim. Hamavashel gid hanosha b'cholav b'yantif v'oichlo like chamesh. One who goes ahead and he cooks the gid hanosha, right, the sinu, the part of the animal which is forbidden to eat. So one who goes ahead and cooks that, right, in cholav, in milk, and yantif, and he eats it, like chamesh, he should get malchus 5 times. What are they? Like mishum avasha gid b'yantif. One of them is cooking, right, the gid hanosha and yantif. For like mishum eichel gid, he should also, because you're not allowed to cook on yantif, right? We'll soon see. Because you're not allowed to cook on. You're only allowed to cook on yantif for something you're allowed to eat, right? And the gid hanosha is not permitted to eat. So therefore, if I cook it, right, I'm not cooking. It's not oichel nefesh. It's not something that's permitted for a person to go ahead and consume on yantif, and therefore it's also. So he should get malchus for mivashel, for cooking the gid on yantif. V'loike mishum eichel gid, also the eating gid hanosha. When he consumes it, he'll be chai for that. V'loike mishum mivashel bas b'chol, he's also chai for cooking milk and meat. V'loike mishum eichel bas. He's also chai for eating basar v'chalav. V'loike mishum havara, and he's also now because basically he's making the fire for a non-purpose, right? So he's cooking for a non-purpose of Yantav because he can't eat the Gita Nasha, and he's also if you say the concept of Hoil, why should he be chai for kindling, right? Because he'd say, well, I kindled the fire, yes, I was cooking to Gita Nasha, but if someone comes over and wants me to, wants to eat, I can cook for them. So why, if you hold to the concept of Hoil, since someone might come into my house, I can go ahead and prepare, cook him something. So by me making the fire now, I shouldn't be chayiv. So I'm like, okay, so take out one of the 5. So remove the havar. You're right. Havar you're allowed to do if you hold the concept of oil. So what was the 5th one? The 5th one was the fact that the Gita Nasha came from an animal that was nevela, right? So in addition to eating a Gita Nasha, right, which you're chai for, one is also chai for eating an animal that died without shechita. That's nevela, right? So therefore, that's the 5th one. So how could you say that? Like in Shtaim al-Chila, so the Shalosh al-Bishulo. Right, we have a limud that we.
Hey, you'll maybe turn off your video. It's really choppy.
That in this case we. That
Yo, we lost you completely.
the 5 sets of malchus that he gets, 2 of them are for eating, and 3 of them are the cooking. And if you're telling me that the making of the fire, which is part of the cooking, is no longer there, and the new Easter is eating up nevela of Easter.
Rebbe, you might want to drive a block away so we can all hear you at a better cell spot. Houston.
The last thing I heard him say was you're allowed to eat meat and milk, so I guess.
Hang on, he'll be back.
It's like the teachers.
He's got to drive a block over. So much action at Daf Yomi today. I know, this is like the most exciting Daf Yomi action we had in months. Very exciting.
Just because John's back with us.
Hey, John, welcome. John,
Hey,
you
guys.
let you out of the house? John, looks like you're at work already. What the heck?
That's where I am. Yeah, I'm at work already.
Amazing. Such dedication.
Such dedication when you're your
No,
own boss.
You just need to learn in quiet. I can't learn in my house. There's kids screaming and running around naked. You know?
Don't send
That is
pictures.
It's good to be here.
I'm glad we're still recording.
I think Rebbe doesn't even realize he's still getting share.
I think Shelly Aberman's going to enjoy that one. Later, he'll come comment.
He's coming back. He just texted he's coming back.
Yeah, he probably drove around the corner.
He finished the daf and he didn't realize he got cut off. Oh, here he's back. Welcome back.
Who's back?
Rebbe.
Where are you? And he's gone again. Oh, no, he's not.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, where'd you go?
I hear you. We kind of hear you.
Hello.
Something
Oh, you're back. There you are. Let's turn off your video.
Could also be sometimes if your Wi-Fi is on. If you turn off your Wi-Fi.
All right. All the tech support.
No, we can't hear you if that's what you're asking.